Hello, this is your Tuesday news recording. Your readers today are from the Blackpool Operatic Players, and they are Robert Baldock, Derek Winwood and myself, Erin James. This is being recorded on Tuesday the 26th of May, and the readings taken from the Gazette of Friday and Saturday of last week and Monday of this week.
A teacher accused of the murder of an adopted baby told a jury he never hurt or sexually abused the child. Jamie Varley, aged 37, became emotional at times during his evidence from the witness box as he denied the murder of 13-month-old Preston Davey. He denied taking photos or videos as trophies of sexual abuse, but said he felt disappointed and really ashamed at some images he had taken on his phone. Varley is alleged to have routinely sexually, physically and emotionally abused the baby he had adopted with his partner, John McGowan Fazakali, aged 32, Preston Crown Court has heard. Both men of Chandler's Way, Grimsby, and formerly of Staining Road, Staining, deny all charges. In the fourth week of the trial, Varley gave evidence in his own defence for the first time, his voice sometimes breaking with emotion as videos and photos of the baby were shown on screens in the courtroom. Nick Johnson, KC, defending Varley, began his questions by asking him, "On the 27th of July 2023, did you kill Preston Davey by deliberately blocking his airway?" "No, I did not," Varley replied. Mr. Johnson continued, "Did you sexually assault that child in any way? Did you ever willfully harm Preston physically or psychologically?" Varley replied, "Absolutely not. Our son has never been sexually abused. No." Jurors heard Preston was adopted and began living with the defendants at their home in Blackpool on April the 1st, 2023. But it is alleged in the 4 months before his death, he was ill-treated, had indecent images and videos taken of him, and was sexually abused and assaulted, suffering 40 traumatic injuries found at post-mortem. The court heard Varley, who said he has severe dyslexia, became a design and technology teacher and head of year at South Shore Academy in Blackpool before meeting his partner. He said, "I had always thought about having kids. I wanted to be a teacher, a daddy. Just never thought it was possible once I realised I was a gay man. John was everything I had ever asked for in a relationship. My whole life just changed when I met John." Varley said the early stages of adoption was an eye-opener and that Preston was not a good sleeper or in a routine. He added, "It was challenging in the sense it was new to us. I felt because I had more experience than John, I felt it was going to be a breeze, but it wasn't." Varley was asked to explain a text he sent to his sister about Preston saying, "He's dead meat," after a sleepless night. Varley said, "It was just language that I use. In social settings, I'm dramatic, sassy. I just easily throw words about." The defendant told jurors he had bonded with the baby better than he expected, as he did not think he could love anything more than his dog, Max, but his love for Preston exceeded that for his pet. He added, "When we got the little one, it was special, it was quick, it was strong." Mr. Johnson then asked Varley about photos of bruises on Preston, who appeared to have a cluster of bruises on his forehead, which child sex abuse expert Dr. Joanne Gifford had described as a red flag for signs of abuse. Varley said the baby, who was learning to crawl, would often bang his head and daily have little mishaps, but denied ever deliberately bruising the child. Mr. Johnson asked about a photo of Preston playing naked in a paddling pool, which Home Office pathologist Dr. Alison Armour said showed a shaded mark on the child's bottom, which resembled a human bite mark. Mr. Johnson said, "Did you ever bite Preston's bottom?" Varley replied, "Absolutely not. Could not be more wrong." Mr. Johnson asked Varley about a series of photos on Varley's phone of Preston in his cot, along with 2 toy teddy bears, 4 days before his death in July 2023. The images stretch over a period of 3 minutes and 12 seconds, with the child's head and arms over the top horizontal bar of his cot and his neck resting on the bar. His body is apparently partially suspended. his legs in a frog-like position and the child seemingly asleep or unconscious, described to the jury earlier as a very unsafe and dangerous position. Varley said the baby had gone to sleep before in funny positions and had done so again, so he took photos. Mr. Johnson said, "Were these trophies of a sexual encounter?" "No, they were not, no," Varley replied. He added, "I did not even recognise at the moment it was inappropriate. I'm disappointed. I feel shamed. I feel really ashamed. I did not mean to cause any distress, any harm in that moment. I felt he was safe. I just wanted to capture every part of his life." 4 days later, Preston was rushed to hospital on July 27, 2023, having suffered a collapse and a cardiac arrest, allegedly following a sexual assault by Varley. Varley told police he had briefly left the child in the bath, and when he returned he was off his bath seat and submerged. But a post-mortem examination ruled out drowning and found multiple non-accidental internal and external injuries. Preston's cause of death was found to be acute upper airways obstruction by either smothering or an object or objects inserted into his mouth. The trial continues.
Blackpool Council is submitting a government bid for £30 million to fix the seafront colonnades. The council has been invited by the Department of Transport's £1 billion Structures Fund to submit plans to repair and refurbish the historic Grade 2 listed North Promenade colonnades between the Metropole Hotel and Ginn Square. Almost 1 kilometre in length, the colonnades include 3 sections: Lower Walk at Ginn Square Crescent, Middle Walk from Worley Road to Pleasant Street, and Princess Parade by the Metropole. Built between 1910 and 1925, they remain a much-loved part of Blackpool's tiered seafront. However, like much of Blackpool's built heritage, the colonnades are over 100 years old and in serious need of repair. Over the last few years, some entrances to the colonnades have had to close for safety reasons. However, earlier this year, work was completed to safely reopen 3 of the 5 entrances. Councillor Jane Hugo, Deputy Leader of Blackpool Council, said, "Our famous colonnades are hugely important. They are part of our built heritage. Residents and visitors use the area to walk, stay active and enjoy life living on our beautiful coastline. We've been working on a plan to restore the colonnades back to their former glory. That's not cheap. To afford the level of repairs the colonnades deserve, we would have to go without any road repairs for over 10 years. That's why we're submitting to our government our urgent need for extra funding so we can restore them. The estimated cost to repair and replace the entire length in a like-for-like design is estimated to be around £35 million. This cost is over 10 times the average highway budget given to the council by the government every year, meaning additional funding is needed to complete the repairs. Lower Walk and Middle Walk sit within the North Promenade Conservation Area and are treated as Grade 2 listed buildings.
A Blackpool woman who was brutally attacked by her ex-boyfriend has told how she is now helping other women rebuild their lives after trauma. Emma Louise Kelly, 34, made national headlines when Siri helped save her life after she was punched, kicked and sexually assaulted over a 30-minute period by her then-partner Lee Thomas, who was 45 at the time. Police arrived at her house and arrested Thomas after Emma Louise shouted at her iPhone Siri to call 999. Thomas, of Yarrow Road, Chorley, pleaded guilty to assault by penetration and assault occasioning actual bodily harm. He was sentenced to 9 years and 4 months at Preston Crown Court on August 14, 2025. Emma Louise, who grew up in Blackpool, endured early trauma in her life, including the loss of a baby, her grandmother, aged 76, who she describes as like a mother to her, and her father, who died aged 55 from cancer. And she experienced domestic abuse previously, all before she turned 30. During this time, while working as a DJ in Blackpool from the age of 15, Emma Louise struggled with drug addiction and severe binge drinking as she tried to cope with overwhelming grief and emotional pain. Following years of turmoil, she rebuilt her life after a turning point in 2018 entering recovery and later finding the holistic healing and spiritual well-being community in 2023. But in January 2025, her life was once again turned upside down by the brutal attack that nearly cost her life. Speaking about the moment, Emma Louise said, "I remember thinking I wasn't going to make it. I had already been through so much in my life, but in that moment everything came down to survival. I truly believe I wouldn't be here today without Siri." Since the attack, she has turned what she describes as pain into purpose. The mum of one has since launched ELK Evolution, a well-being business that creates safe spaces for women to heal, connect, and rebuild their lives after trauma. Her events are already selling out, something she says she never imagined possible. She added, "Everything I've been through, the trauma, the loss, the addiction, the attack, it's all led me here. Now I just want other women to know they're not alone, that healing is possible, and that they can rebuild their lives too. I've had to find compassion and forgiveness for the old version of myself." Emma Louise now also delivers wellbeing programs within local communities, supporting women on their own healing journeys.
In welcome news for Blackpool, the VAT rate has been slashed by 3/4 for tourist attractions over the summer holidays. The Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, set out the measure as part of a Great British Summer Savings Scheme aimed at easing the impact on the cost of living from the Iran war. Ms Reeves told the House of Commons in a statement yesterday, this will apply to ticket prices for both adults and children, covering attractions such as fairs, theme parks, zoos and museums. It will include children's tickets for cinemas, concerts, soft play and the theatre, and it will cut the cost of children's meals in restaurants and cafes. She said the changes would apply across England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland from June the 25th until September the 1st. The government expects businesses to pass on the VAT savings to customers. Chris Webb, Blackpool South MP, said the scheme is brilliant news for local families and for our tourism and hospitality sector. For Blackpool, where tourism supports thousands of local jobs and businesses, and where local families are often locked out of our attractions, cutting VAT from 20% to 5% on summer attractions will make a real difference. I've consistently argued that backing our visitor economy means backing communities too. This package helps businesses attract more visitors over the summer while also making it easier for local families to enjoy everything on their doorstep. Blackpool is ready for a brilliant summer. The scheme, which the Treasury estimated would cost around £300 million, also includes free bus travel for children aged between 5 and 15 in England during the school holidays in August. Other measures announced by Miss Reeves include a 10p per mile increase in tax-free mileage rates backdated to April, a £350 million critical chemicals resilience fund and a £120 million fund to help the ceramics sector and the cutting of import tariffs on more than 100 types of food products. As expected, Ms Reeves did not announce immediate help with energy bills driven up by the war in the Middle East. The household energy price cap is predicted to rise by £209 a year from July after the closure of the Strait of Hormuz pushed up global oil and gas prices. Ms Reeves told MPs, because of the decision that I made at the budget last year to cut £150 from energy bills, we have lessened the impact of rising prices and current external forecasts suggest that the cap from July will be at a similar level to the cap in April last year. We stand ready to act if market conditions worsen significantly later this year.
A house in Blackpool has been given a closure order by police after multiple issues with antisocial behaviour, criminality and drugs. The order bans all persons from remaining, returning and or entering the premises on Osborne Road for 3 months. Anyone seen entering the property without prior authorisation can be arrested and might face imprisonment and or a fine. Meanwhile, anyone who lived in the property has now been forced to relocate. Police say they hope that the order will reassure nearby residents they take a zero-tolerance approach to antisocial behaviour and drug-related activity. Sergeant Richard McKenna of Blackpool Police said, "This closure order demonstrates our ongoing commitment to tackling antisocial behaviour and drug-related activity in Blackpool. The persistent issues linked to this address have had a significant impact on the local community, and we have listened to residents' concerns. By securing this order, we've taken decisive action to disrupt criminal behaviour and improve the quality of life for those living nearby," Sergeant McKenna added. This activity was undertaken as part of Operation Centurion, a programme which sees Lancashire police officers tackling antisocial behaviour through targeted activity and high-visibility controls.
Just for a moment, he may have felt as frightened as Sasha did. Those were the words of Katie Brett, sister of murdered Blackpool teen Sasha Marsden, speaking for the first time after killer David Minto was brutally attacked by another inmate in Wakefield Prison. Earlier this month, fellow killer Duncan Heaton was convicted of attempting to murder Minto at the jail dubbed Monster Mansion, which houses some of Britain's most violent and perverted prisoners. Now papers released following 53-year-old Heaton's trial at Leeds Crown Court reveal the killer hated Minto because he's a sex offender. Heaton battered and stabbed Minto with improvised weapons after calmly strolling into the Blackpool killer and rapist cell. Leaving Minto covered in blood, Heaton then walked into a guard's office on the wing and said, "I've done Minto, I've done the Blackpool nonce." Heaton, who is serving for a life sentence for stabbing a disabled man to death, said he singled out Minto because he hated sex offenders and had family in Blackpool. He had spent a fortnight planning the attack on Minto, who murdered and raped 16-year-old Sasha in 2013. Afterwards, Heaton said he had only stopped the attack because he believed Minto was dead, adding that he would have returned to finish the job if he knew he was still alive. At his trial, Heaton asked for a whole life sentence. However, he received an extra 13 years for the attack on Minto and a paedophile in Full Sutton prison. In the years following Sasha's death, Katie campaigned for the implementation of Sasha's law, which would give grieving families longer to appeal against the sentencing of killers like Minto. Last month, she celebrated as Parliament enshrined it in law. Previously, families had only 28 days to lodge an appeal. She said, "Is it right that this evil individual one day gets a chance at rebuilding his life and starting fresh? We will never get over what happened to Sasha. It has scarred us for the rest of our lives. But one thing that makes living with this even worse is living with the knowledge that one day he will be free to kill someone else's daughter. Minto is serving life with a minimum of 35 years."
It was an historic day for Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort as the attraction officially launched its brand new £8.72 million ride, Avictus, to huge critical acclaim last Thursday, the 21st of May. With expectant crowds gathering in anticipation, the theme park officially opened its newest ride to the public, welcoming its first riders after months of excitement and build-up since Avictus was announced in May 2025. Thrill seekers travelled from across the country to experience the adrenaline-pumping spectacle, which launches riders 138 feet into the air while reaching angles of up to 120 degrees. With its opening, Avictus officially became the largest ride of its kind in the UK, standing at almost double the size of the previous tallest, which is Maelstrom at Drayton Manor. The attraction represents Pleasure Beach's biggest single investment in 8 years, following the opening of its double-launch roller coaster, Icon. Pleasure Beach Resort has invested £8.72 million into Avictus, which has been specifically engineered to maximise thrills. The ride features unique restraints designed to create a sense of freedom, leaving riders feeling weightless as they soar towards its 138-foot peak. Speaking at the launch, Amanda Thompson, CEO of Pleasure Beach Resort, said, "Pleasure Beach has always had a reputation for going big and pushing boundaries. Avictus is no exception. Its sheer size and presence speaks for itself. There is simply nothing like it in the UK. We wanted to build something that sets us apart from anywhere else and gives our guests a genuine must-visit reason to come to the park." This project is another reminder of our commitment to making Pleasure Beach one of the world's greatest theme parks. Evictus is Britain's first new ride for a long, long time, and Pleasure Beach's first new ride for about 10 years. It's huge, it's fast, and it drives adrenaline right through you. It's terrifying. I've tried it myself, but I can't do it again because it frightened me too much. But for those of you who like thrills and adrenaline rushes, this is the ride for you. The reaction today has been mind-blowingly brilliant, as I had hoped. It's been even better than expected. For first reactions, Evictus has already proved popular among those brave enough to experience it, with many heralding the attraction as standout, offering within the theme park industry. The new edition also marks the next chapter in Pleasure Beach's ongoing evolution strategy, following recent reimaginings of classic attractions, including Launchpad and Valhalla, known as Europe's best water ride. Scott Bickerton, a roller coaster enthusiast who runs the YouTube channel Your Experience Guide, said, "Evictus is a must-ride. It combines airtime, hang time, and intense thrill to provide a completely fresh experience. When you're up at 138 feet, the views across Pleasure Beach and out to the sea are spectacular," added Scott. Not only is it an incredible thrill ride, it's also become a striking visual landmark for the town. One of the lead ride designers at Pleasure Beach in Blackpool has called the launch of Evictus an amazing end to a long journey. Adam Slevin is the Director of Creative Design and Experience at Pleasure Beach, Blackpool, and said it's been amazing. This is the end of a long journey of probably 3 years in which we've been working on this ride. We started with pencil sketches, which I still have in my office, of where we were going to put it and where it fitted. So to have everything come together and seeing people here on it and enjoying it and giving great feedback has been fantastic. I've had a go myself. I was lucky enough to go on it last week and it was an incredible experience. As I'm getting older, I slightly worry about going on thrill rides, but I was absolutely fine and it was exhilarating. The views skywards and forward were absolutely superb. With its opening, Evictus became the largest ride of its kind in the UK, standing at almost double the size of the previous tallest maelstrom at Drayton Manor. The attraction also marks Pleasure Beach's biggest single investment in 8 years since the launch of Icon in 2018. Designed to maximise thrills, Evictus features restraints intended to create a weightless sensation for riders. It also features very distinctive design, about which Adam said, "We've drawn inspiration from Angkor Wat and the river caves, which is Cambodian architecture. There's a whole backstory, and we had a fantastic idea of snakes escaping and forming a separate civilization called Evictus. That's where the story comes from, and we've given it a twist. The ride is very contemporary and exciting."
Residents gathered to express their concerns over a controversial new build estate proposed in Carlton earlier in the week. People brought placards as passing traffic beeped in support of the protesters who want to stop the new homes being built on Greenbelt land. The proposals to build a new estate on land bordering Carlton, Poulton and Blackpool is attracting massive opposition from residents as well as Wyre councillors. One of the residents said it breaks their heart to see deer roaming through a nearby development site, which was recently caught on camera and is evidence that the wildlife are being disturbed from their habitat. And people were questioning why the area needs any more houses. One resident commented that there were more than 2,000 properties for sale locally. In the last 4 years, there have been at least 7 big housing developments in the Poulton, Fylde and Carlton area, said Maria Hindle. Enough is enough. There can be no argument to say we need more houses. But the plans looked like they would enhance the area, according to John Wallace. He said it will improve the area. Anna Warrender McCann added, "Blackpool Council, you need to take notice now. No more builds in this area, please. Well done to all the supporters."
Fleetwood Festival of Transport is still looking for volunteers to make sure the festival safely goes ahead. Organisers said, "As ever, we rely on volunteers to make sure the festival safely goes ahead. If you'd like to do your bit for the community and enjoy a brilliant day with us, please get in touch." The event, on July 19th, will see cars, buses, bikes and vehicles from all eras displaying along Fleetwood's High Street. The community parade takes place at 11 a.m, featuring resident artists Janine Walker, plus a performance by, wait for it, the Old Electric Davy Jones Locker Knockers Morris Dancers. Fleetwood Festival of Transport, or Tram Sunday as it's widely known, is an annual celebration of all things transport held in the heart of Fleetwood. First launched in the 1980s, the event has grown into one of the largest transport-themed festivals in the UK. It attracts visitors from across the country for a full day of free entertainment.
A dry rave to raise money for people battling addiction in Blackpool is gaining momentum. Claire Sollett has organised the drug and alcohol-free event as part of her fundraising mission that involves an epic climb to the summit of Africa's tallest peak, Kilimanjaro. And the mayor will be there too, dry raving, as well as making a speech about the fantastic efforts being made in Blackpool to support the recovery community. The dry rave takes place on June 13th ahead of Claire's climb in memory of her beloved dad, John Sollett, who died after his own battle with addiction. It's called Move Any Mountain Dry Rave and will take place at St Thomas's Church on Cornt Street from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Claire said, "There is a really strong sense of unity right across the Fylde through recovery meetings, jobs, friends and houses, and services such as Horizon in Blackpool. They don't just help people struggling with addiction to begin recovery, but also ensure that when people take the brave step to recover, they are supported by JFH and a growing number of recovery meetings to help them stay clean and sober. It's wonderful that the mayor will be attending. The aim of this dry rave is to bring people in recovery together, to show that there is life after addiction, and to show those in early recovery that they can still have fun and fellowship beyond addiction if they choose to embrace it. We are really hoping the event helps break down stigma, raises awareness and shows the community just how much positive work is happening locally." Claire has set a £5,000 target for her epic quest. "Over the past year, I've been building towards this moment, summiting the highest peaks in Wales, Scotland, Japan and North Africa. But standing 5,895 metres, taking around 6 days to climb, Kilimanjaro will be by far the biggest challenge of them all, physically, mentally and spiritually. Claire will set off to climb Kilimanjaro on June 21st, a climb she says has been a lifetime in the making. Every step I take up Kilimanjaro will be for this cause, for my dad, for those fighting to overcome the devastating disease of addiction, and for the belief that no summit is too high when we climb for a purpose. Tickets for the dry rave are £5 on the door, alcohol-free drinks available, with chili, chips and dips sold on the day. It's open to everyone, provided they respect the drug and alcohol-free policy. The aim is to show recovery can be positive and empowering, while raising vital funds for JFH."
Proposals are in the pipeline to set up a new martial arts training facility in the Blackpool area, if planners give the project the green light. An application has been submitted to Blackpool Council for a certificate of lawfulness for premises on Mowbray Drive, which would mean the scheme would not require planning permission. The applicant is listed as Hazel Winter, a well-known martial arts circle in the martial arts circle as a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, or BJJ. In 2022, she became Blackpool's first female BJJ black belt and the latest among only around 40 other female UK practitioners to hold the grade, which requires at least 10 years of dedicated training to reach the required standard. A supporting document submitted to the Council by Lee Fenton Planning Services Limited on behalf of the applicant states, "This application unit has historically operated as a flexible commercial premises and has accommodated a variety of office and retail uses over approximately the last 20 years. The premises previously fell into Class E as retail, service or business use. The martial arts facility would be in the same use class." The statement argues that, under the relevant provision of the Town and Country Planning Use Classes Order of 1987, a change of use between uses within the same use class does not constitute development requiring planning permission. It adds, accordingly, it is respectfully submitted that the proposed use of the application unit as a martial arts training facility is lawful, and that a certificate of proposed lawful use should therefore be granted.
What could be scarier than riding Blackpool's Big One roller coaster? Maybe walking it instead. That's exactly what an intrepid team from Vincent's Solicitors is planning to do at Blackpool Pleasure Beach next month, to raise money for sight loss charity Galloway's. Sophie Mercer, Courtney Leach and Yasmin Dragon from Vincent's Poulton office will face their fears and climb 430 steps to the 235-foot summit of the resort's iconic roller coaster. Courtney said, "This is about more than climbing one of the world's most iconic roller coasters. It's about raising awareness and vital funds for people living with sight loss across North West." Galloway's helps individuals and families adapt to life with visual impairment by providing practical support, specialist advice, rehabilitation services, social activities, and opportunities that promote confidence and independence. Colleague Yasmin added, "For many people, sight loss can be isolating and overwhelming. Charities like Galloway's make an enormous difference by helping people regain independence, stay connected to their communities, and continue living fulfilling lives. Their work supports people of all ages, from children and young adults to older people adjusting to changes in their vision. Walking the Big One pushes participants physically and mentally, making it a fitting way to support a charity that helps people overcome challenges every single day." Sophie, commercial property specialist and head of the Poulton office, hopes people will get behind the fundraisers. She said, "As a team, we've set a fundraising target of £750, and every donation, no matter the amount, helps Galloway's continue delivering these essential services to those who rely on them. Thank you to everyone supporting, donating and sharing the journey."
The users of a Lancashire County Council-run day centre in Fylde have been told that the facility will remain open, but a question mark still hangs over the future of a similar service in Wyre. Millbank in Kirkham and Teal Close in Thornton Cleveleys were among 5 day care services whose long-term survival was thrown into doubt last October. The County Council said it was considering the re-provision of the facilities amid concern about the poor condition of some of the buildings and the degree to which they were being used. A consultation was launched into the centres, along with 5 care homes, sparking a wave of petitions and protests from those concerned about the potential closure of the sites, although the authority insisted no predetermined decisions had been taken to shut any of them. The response prompted the Reform UK administration at County Hall to announce in January it had resolved to invest in the care homes, meaning that they would be staying open. At the time, no such commitment was made over the day centres, but the authority has now confirmed the future of the 3 that are currently in operation, one of which is Millbank, which stands alongside a care home of the same name which had also been under review. However, the Gazette understands that the fate of Teal Close, which is a neighbour of the Thornton House care home, which will continue to operate, now rests on the development of a new model of care that will govern all County Council adult social care services. Teal Close is one of 2 day centres that closed at the onset of the pandemic and never reopened, although the closures are still officially deemed to be only temporary. A cabinet meeting on Tuesday was told that the authority planned to carry out a trial that would see some of its day care facilities opened up for broader community use beyond their core function. It was stressed that the test and learn process would not have any impact on the services that users of the day centres currently receive. An announcement regarding the 5 under review daycare premises had been expected at the Cabinet gathering, but their futures were not explicitly set out during the discussion. Cabinet Minister for Adult Social Care, Graham Dalton, said that the process would change Lancashire and its care settings for the better. County Council leader Stephen Atkinson added that the consultation and the County Council's response to date proved that the authority is listening to those who rely on its care services. 3/4 of more than 1,500 people who gave their opinion in the survey were opposed to the possible closure and re-provision of the 10 care facilities that were part of the recent review.
A Fylde Coast cricket club that was home to one of the biggest names in sport is celebrating a cash boost for its young stars. St Anne's Cricket Club has been given £1,000 to help enhance coaching provision and sustain the club's growth across all age groups. The club offers cricket opportunities for all ages from 5 to 8-year-olds in the ECB All-Stars programme to youth sides up to under-17s, as well as girls' softball and women's softball league teams. The donation from house builder Barratt Homes will be used towards acquiring a new retractable roll-out plastic pitch, which the junior teams will be able to use in wet conditions. Matthew Dougal, junior cricket coordinator at St Anne's Cricket Club, said, "We're extremely grateful for Barratt Homes' kind sponsorship. In this day and age, volunteer-led organisations like ours find it increasingly hard to balance rising costs. This donation will help us strengthen our coaching setup, both in numbers and skill level, something that is vital for the club's long-term development. Our club is at the heart of the local community and one of the largest sports clubs in the area. We're proud to provide a welcoming space, not just for cricket, but for other local groups to use our facilities." Founded in the late 1880s, St Anne's Cricket Club has produced and hosted world-class cricketers over the decades, including Andrew Freddie Flintoff, who rose through the St Anne's Cricket Club junior and senior ranks before embarking on his professional career with Lancashire and England.
A plucky 7-year-old is gearing up for a remarkable challenge as he prepares to take on the 15-mile TAPS cycle ride in support of Rosemere Cancer Foundation. Maxie Moran, a pupil at Lytham Hall Park Primary School, will join the peloton setting off from the TAPS pub in Henry Street, Lytham, on Sunday, June 7th, riding alongside his father Daniel, who is also making his debut in the annual charity event. Although football remains his main sporting passion, with Lytham Juniors Windmills under-7s, Maxie has developed a love of cycling and will complete the route on a bike he received for his 6th birthday. And it means he will be one of the youngest participants in the event's 27-year history. Proud dad Daniel said the family's involvement in the ride was inspired by its charitable purpose and long-standing connection with Rosemere. Maxie from Lytham has already attracted more than £1,700 in sponsorship through his Just Giving page, with support pouring in from friends, family and the wider community. Daniel added that Maxie is absolutely thrilled to be taking part with the whole family, mum Honor, younger brother Ozzy and grandparents Jin E and David Cam, set to line the route to cheer him on. David is a long-time steward for the event. Proud Daniel said, "Although playing football is Maxie's main interest, he also loves cycling and will be riding a bike he received for his 6th birthday. My father-in-law, David Cam, Maxie's granddad, is one of the TAPS Cycle's stewards. For the last couple of years, he's driven the rescue van at the rear of the peloton, collecting route signs and picking up broken bikes. Maxie has joined him, but this year, when Grandad asked Maxie did he want to join him again, Maxie said he'd prefer to ride the course." Sue Swire, fundraising manager for Rosemere Cancer Foundation, said, "We wish Maxie and Daniel the very best of luck. We think it's fantastic Maxie has opted to ride for us this year. It's no mean distance for such little legs, so we're also very proud of Maxie." The TAPS cycle continues to be a key fundraiser for the foundation, which works supporting world-class cancer treatment, equipment and research for people living with cancer across the region.
A violent son with a history of attacks on his mother has been told he could be spared prison if he can be found a new home. Sam Bethel has spent the past 2 months in custody waiting to be sentenced for assault causing actual bodily harm and criminal damage at his mum's home in Blackpool. A judge in Preston indicated this week he might be willing to give him a suspended sentence if accommodation is available. But after adjourning the hearing until May 29th, recorder Jeremy Lasker told the probation service, "There is no way I am going to release him unless I know where he is going to." Bethel, aged 30, injured his mother after he got drunk at a funeral, kicking her front door with extreme force and trapping her right arm against the frame. He claimed it was an accident and said he had no intention of injuring the 65-year-old or damaging the door, but he still pleaded guilty to both offences. Barrister Daniel Dewhurst, prosecuting, told Preston Crown Court that Bethel, of no fixed address and currently in HMP Durham, had moved back into his mother's house after serving a 12-month jail sentence for a previous offence of battery against her. When contacted by police to make a victim impact statement to be read in court, his mother declined. She also said she didn't want to apply for a restraining order. Mia Monaghan, defending, said the custody threshold had clearly been crossed within the offences, but she argued that this case was capable of being dealt with by a suspended sentence. Judge Lasker asked, well, where is he going to go? In custody, his access to drink and drugs is limited, but there is no way I am going to release him unless I know where he is going to go. He asked the probation service to report on providing a hostel for him to go to, because when he was homeless last time, his mother took him in. Recorder Lasker adjourned sentencing and said he would consider a suspended sentence should accommodation be found.
A popular Thai restaurant is moving to a new venue in Fylde later this month. Tata's Thai Kitchen, which has been inside Lytham Beer House since December, has announced it is opening its first permanent site in Kirkham later this month. Tata's Thai Kitchen, owned by business partners Martin James and Rithirat Wonguthan, was set this Friday to open at the old bank on Poulton Street, which was the Midland Bank, then an HSBC, before being converted into a restaurant in 2021. Martin, who lives in Waltonley Dale, said, "We're so excited about it, we really are. It's a magnificent building. It actually still has the safe downstairs, which is a prep room at the moment, but we're eventually going to change that into a really cosy lounge for about 20 people so they can come in and have a drink pre-dinner or after dinner. We've got exciting plans for the venue. You know, we're going to start opening in the evenings only and then expand onto lunches as we grow." Front of house Martin and head chef Rithirat, who goes by the nickname Tata, have worked together for over a decade, having previously run the popular Fry-In Chippy in Lostock Hall. Southport-born Martin took care of the English meals, while Bangkok-born Tata sorted Thai dishes. But after 8 successful years, they closed in 2024 with the aim of opening their own Thai restaurant instead. Martin, 62, said part of that motivation was a desire to slow down. Fry-In often had queues out of the door, and near the end it was getting through 1,000 kilos of chips across a 4-day week. With Tata's Thai Kitchen, Martin, himself a trained chef, has switched to front of house, while Tata, who trained at the cookery school in Thailand and used to own a street food cart over there, now helps in the kitchen from a second Thai chef. Martin added, "We're making massive changes inside. Everything's going to be brand new."
At just 28 years old, Sanjay Kushwaha has already built up years of hospitality experience across 4 countries, and now he is hoping to make his mark in Blackpool with the relaunch of Cafe 25. Originally from Nepal, Sanjay arrived in the UK in October 2023 to study for an MBA, but his background in hospitality stretches back to 2018. Before moving to Blackpool, he worked in cafes, restaurants and hospitality businesses in Nepal, the UAE and Saudi Arabia. Now, after years of helping other businesses grow, he has taken his first step into business ownership by taking over Cafe 25. Sanjay said, "Owning my own hospitality business has always been a dream of mine, and after years of working for others and helping businesses grow, I decided to take the opportunity to build something of my own with Cafe 25. We officially opened last week with a soft launch, and the response from customers has been really encouraging so far. People have been enjoying the variety of food we offer and the welcoming atmosphere we are trying to create. We wanted to create a place with something for everyone. He added, "Taking over the business has definitely been challenging and at times overwhelming, especially being young and trying to manage everything independently, including staffing and day-to-day operations. But I'm passionate about hospitality and committed to building Cafe 25 into a place the local community can enjoy and support. Cafe 25 offers a broad menu designed to appeal to a wide range of tastes, including English and Indian dishes." We're now approaching the end of today's readings, so from all of us in the studio,
Goodbye.